A port is burning on the Black Sea. Not a skirmish, not a warning shot. More than 50 drones launched deep from Ukrainian territory just turned Russia's most critical crude oil export hub into a column of fire visible from space. And that was only part of the operation. On the same night, a Ukrainian strike drone punched through the active air defense systems of a Russian warship, a frigate that had been launching cruise missiles at Ukrainian cities, and hit it anyway. Tonight, we're going to break down exactly what happened, why it matters geopolitically, and what it signals about the direction of this war. Stay with us. Let's start with the warship. The vessel targeted was the Admiral Grigorovich, the flagship of Russia's Project 11356R class of multi-purpose frigates operating in the Black Sea Fleet. This is not a minor vessel. The Admiral Grigorovich is purpose-built for 3 critical roles: anti-submarine warfare, air defense operations, and long-range precision strikes using Kalibr cruise missiles. It can carry up to 8 Kalibr missiles at a time. The same missiles Russia has repeatedly used to strike civilian infrastructure, power grids, and cities across Ukraine. The ship is also equipped with the Shtil-1 air defense system, loaded with 24 surface-to-air missiles. In short, this is a capable, well-armed warship with layered defenses. And Ukraine hit it anyway. According to Robert Martybrov, the commander of Ukraine's unmanned systems forces, the frigate's crew saw the attack coming. They activated the ship's onboard air defense system and fired missiles at the incoming drones during their approach. It didn't work. The strike was organized by Ukraine's security service, the SBU, and executed by the first independent unmanned systems center. The weapon used was the FP-2 strike drone, designed and manufactured by a Ukrainian company called Firepoint. A video released after the attack, running over 2 minutes, shows the drone's perspective as it approaches the vessel, the moment of impact, and the follow-on damage to the target. Ukrainian intelligence is still assessing the full extent of the damage. Now, let's pause here for a moment, because the geopolitical significance of this strike goes beyond one ship. The Black Sea Fleet has been Russia's primary naval instrument for projecting power in this theater since 2022. Ukraine has dramatically degraded it over the past 2 years, forcing vessels back from Crimean ports, sinking or damaging multiple ships including the flagship Moskva. Every time a warship like the Grigorovich is taken out of the fight, Russia's ability to threaten Ukrainian coastal positions, conduct amphibious operations, or launch cruise missile salvos from the sea is further reduced. And critically, Ukraine did this without a navy. No warships, no carrier groups, just drones, intelligence, and precision. During the same operation, Ukrainian forces also struck the sea's offshore drilling platform in the Black Sea. This strike was carried out by the 413th Separate Unmanned Systems Regiment, known as RAID, operating in coordination with Ukraine's naval forces and long-range strike units. The SEI's platform has strategic significance beyond its industrial function. It sits in a contested area of the Black Sea and has previously been used by Russian forces as a forward observation and surveillance post, giving Moscow eyes over a wide stretch of open water. Striking it serves both an economic and a tactical denial purpose. Together, the frigate strike and the platform strike form a coherent operational picture. Ukraine is not just defending its coastline. It is actively contesting Russian naval and energy infrastructure across the entire Black Sea theater. But the most consequential event of this operation, arguably one of the most consequential Ukrainian strikes of the entire war, was what happened at the port of Novorossiysk. Let's establish why Novorossiysk matters so much. In peacetime, this single port handled between 25 and 35% of all Russian crude oil exports, approximately 3 to 3.2 million tons per month. Even now, amid active war, Novorossiysk is believed to process roughly 1/5 of Russia's total crude exports. The port is home to the Sheskharis oil terminal, a critical hub for loading and shipping Urals Blend, Siberian Light, and Kazakhstani crude onto tankers bound for international markets. This is not a symbolic target. This is a financial artery. Russia's war machine runs on oil revenue. Sanctions have complicated its access to Western financial systems. But energy exports, particularly through infrastructure that bypasses Western-controlled choke points, have continued to fund its military operations. Novorossiysk, and more specifically the Shashakis terminal, is one of the most important nodes in the system. So what happened? From late Sunday into Monday, Ukraine's long-range drone units launched a massive overnight assault on the terminal. More than 50 drones were involved, making this Ukraine's largest and most destructive strike yet against Novorossiysk's oil infrastructure, according to most assessments. The fires that followed were enormous. They were visible from afar. They were detected by satellite. According to local reports, oil export operations were brought to a complete standstill. This did not come out of nowhere. Ukraine has been systematically targeting Novorossiysk in recent months as part of a clear campaign of escalating pressure. Previous confirmed strikes on the port took place on the 14th of November, the 29th of November, the 7th of February, and the 1st of March. Each attack tested Russian defenses, identified gaps, and built up to this, a strike that appears to have caused sustained, operationally significant damage, which previous raids only partially achieved. Now, let's consider the strategic implications. Even a temporary shutdown of crude exports through Novorossiysk would have a knock-on effect. Tankers either reroute or wait. Contracts are disrupted. Revenue is delayed or lost entirely. Insurance premiums on vessels transiting the area would rise. Crucially, it also sends a message to the international energy markets and Russia's customers, particularly those in Asia, that this infrastructure is unsafe. Ukraine cannot win this war in the air alone. However, it can make the economic cost of continuing the war prohibitively high. Every barrel that Russia cannot export means one less ruble to spend on shells, drones, or soldiers. This is economic warfare conducted through precision strikes, and it is becoming one of Ukraine's most effective strategic tools. Let's take a step back and connect the dots. In a single operational window, Ukraine struck a Russian warship with active air defenses, disabled an offshore platform used for maritime surveillance, and launched its most damaging attack yet on Russia's most important oil export terminal. None of these targets were easy to reach. None of them were undefended. This operation demonstrates a level of operational coordination and strategic ambition that goes well beyond reactive defense. Ukraine is carrying out simultaneous, multi-domain strikes across a wide geographic area, combining the efforts of its security service, naval forces, unmanned systems units, and long-range strike capabilities. From a geopolitical standpoint, several audiences are watching this very closely. Western partners and allies are assessing whether continued military aid is producing results. Operations like this one provide powerful evidence that it is. Russia's leadership is observing to determine whether Novorossiysk, long considered a relatively secure rear area, can still be treated as such. The answer is increasingly no. Energy markets are also watching, as a sustained degradation of export capacity at Novorossiysk would have real consequences for global crude supply chains, particularly for Asian buyers who have been quietly absorbing Russian oil at discounted prices. The Black Sea is no longer a Russian lake. 3 years ago, this would have seemed an improbable statement, given that Russia's Black Sea fleet was one of the most dominant naval forces in the region, and Ukraine had no significant navy. Today, however, Ukraine's fleet of domestically designed and built strike drones, operated by small teams under extraordinary pressure, has fundamentally reshaped the balance of power in this theater. The Novorossiysk strikes, the Grigorovich hit, and the Say's platform are not isolated incidents. They are part of a deliberate, escalating campaign to deny Russia the safety of its rear, strike at the economic foundations of its war, and demonstrate that no infrastructure on Russia's Black Sea coast is safe. Whether this campaign will succeed in meaningfully shortening the war remains to be seen. But what is no longer in question is whether Ukraine has the capability and willpower to carry it out. We'll keep watching and reporting as the damage assessments come in. If you found this breakdown useful, subscribe for more in-depth geopolitical coverage. We cover what's actually happening, and, more importantly, what it means. See you next time.